I have a tendency to self-sabotage. Any thoughts on how to overcome it? So when self-sabotage happens, I suppose a default response that's useful is to counter it by practicing self-empowerment. And that might sound rather obvious, but sometimes we don't do that. Sometimes we get caught up in a kind of a loop, a feedback loop, a pattern, a cycle of that self-sabotage, because we notice maybe that we're self-sabotaging and then we go, oh my God, how could I do that? Why are you self-sabotaging? And then we put ourselves down a little bit more, and then that turns into a bit of a spiral, and we just get kind of demotivated. Our energy gets depleted as a result. So that's not too helpful. So I think a really nice thing to do in those moments is to be kind to yourself and to stop and to notice, okay, if there is an inwardly directed negativity in that moment, okay, let me notice that. Now, what is it I would like instead of that? We probably don't want more of that. That's the problem to begin with. So if you can recognize that and say to yourself, well, actually, maybe some self-empowering thoughts would be nice. Maybe a bit of a boost of confidence. Maybe some feelings that make me feel better within myself. Maybe thinking back on times previously when you've done well, or thinking forward to future opportunities or things you might like to achieve, imagining them going well, tapping into some of that energy. Or maybe doing things practically that put you in a good place, that change your state so that you're feeling better. So I think by default, that's a useful response to self-sabotage. But let's play the devil's advocate for just a moment. Another thing you might want to do is embrace self-sabotage and do some good, constructive self-sabotage. But the distinction I think we want to make here is self-sabotage mightn't be quite the word we want. People use the word self in many, many different ways. Complicated. But probably a clearer term to use here would be self-concept sabotage, or just concept sabotage. Because very often when we're sabotaging ourselves, we're not really sabotaging ourselves. I mean, if by self we mean just being conscious, well, you're still conscious. I mean, that really hasn't changed. But probably more importantly, what we tend to do is focus our attention on certain concepts or certain notions of how we see ourselves. And it's rather like a brand a company has. You know, companies use their logos and their branding because it's handy because you can think about it easily. You don't want to think about a company in terms of its board of directors. You don't want to think of a company in terms of the list of assets it owns, or even the products it makes, because many companies make many products and it can be a bit hard to narrow that down. So it's helpful to have some sort of a picture or some sort of a concept that we can use as a notion, a concept that represents that company in a broader sense. So likewise, we have these self-concepts and we develop them as we go through life. As babies, we don't tend to have a particularly strong self-concept. We don't have any notion of ourselves, but it gets developed as we go through life as time goes by. And it can be helpful to some extent because it can give you, I suppose, a bit of a go-to snapshot of maybe what you're about and what you can expect. And that can be kind of handy. But the problem is if they get framed in a negative way or if they become out of date, these self-concepts sometimes actually hinder us. It's like a limited brand, a brand with a bad reputation. You're going to go, oh, I'm going to avoid that brand. But they might have actually changed. They might be much better now. But because of previous bad experience, you kind of expect it to be a challenge. And that's kind of where the self-sabotage comes in. It becomes a bit of a problem then. So the question then is, what can you sabotage? Because sometimes the problem is that you're not actually sabotaging enough. You're just kind of inheriting from previous moments a negative self-concept, you know, because there's problems in the past. You're expecting there to be a problem now and then in the moments that follow. So actually a bit of sabotage could be just what we needed here, because if you're able to go, now hold on a moment, that concept, not too sure about that. Where did that come from? I don't remember ordering that. I don't remember signing up for that. That can be really useful. That can be really helpful. And so then in that moment, you can maybe, like a film editor, You can cut that one out and add that one in, and you can do a bit of editing. So that can be a really nice, full, constructive way to use your tendency to self-sabotage. And I think this puts you in a good place, because if you're terrible at self-sabotage, great, no problems. And if you're good at self-sabotage, excellent. Use that sabotaging ability that you have, some of the muscle tone that you've developed, use it to cut out some of the concepts that aren't actually that helpful. Now, somebody might argue at this point, but hold on a moment. These concepts are based on a true story. These are things that did actually happen. And fair enough. But Oscar Wilde has a saying which I really, really love, which is, every saint has a past, and every scoundrel has a future. And there's a hell of a lot to that, I think. Because so often the problem is we're defining our present and our future based on our past. And the problem is, they say that in life you don't always get what you want, you get what you expect. So our expectations lead to essentially low expectations. And then there's problems because we expected them. We just don't take some of the positive actions we could have taken because we didn't believe we could. And then it becomes a real self-fulfilling prophecy. So use a bit of that sabotage where needed to be able to cut out any of those old concepts that aren't useful, and then to start to put in their place instead concepts that maybe are more helpful and even better than concepts, taking a real world action in positive directions too. All right, interesting topic area. Do share your experience in the comments with self-sabotage and with maybe being able to usefully sabotage thoughts. Have you ever had one of those moments where you said, hold on a moment, this is a thought. I don't have to believe this. It's like a bit of code that's running on the computer. I can upgrade it. I can change it. You can do that. Feel free to. It's your mind. Go for it. If you found this valuable, do like, subscribe, and share. And what's your experience? Do you have any questions or topic suggestions? You can contribute in the comments, on social media using hashtag bodymindself, or on jfl.com.